Hello everyone, it's Elena and I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a review of my exchange semester at the University of Regensburg in Germany. So I have another semester coming up because I'm doing an entire year abroad, because Cambridge does not allow you to just do a semester, because at Cambridge you take courses for an entire year. So if you only did a semester, you'd be coming back and you would have missed half of the classes that you will need for your exams at the end of the year. So that's why I'm doing an entire year. But my first semester is over and my second one is actually starting in about a week. So it's gonna be exciting. I actually don't have all my grades for the semester yet, but I'm only missing grades from one subject. So let's just hope I didn't fail that one and then I would have passed everything. So fingers crossed. This is not how you cross your fingers, Elena. I think this is the sign you should have made. Sorry. Anyways, the point is, here's my review of my exchange semester. So I'm going to go with rating my exchange semester based on 3 different categories. One is social life, one is extracurriculars, and one is academics. And I'm going to be honest here, the most important to me is academics, because that's the reason why I went on this exchange semester. I wanted to learn stuff about German law, and so this is the ultimate reason why I went. The other stuff is important as well, of course, but to me that was really the main thing. But let's start with social life, because that one pretty much didn't exist. So I'm gonna rank that one a 2 out of 10. Why 2 and not 0? Because some people from the University of Regensburg were super nice to me and reached out via Instagram or via the contact form of my blog and were like, hey, do you maybe want to Skype at some point? And I even got to meet 2 people in person when I was in Regensburg for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, and actually lived in my student dorm before the semester actually started. And I left and really didn't meet any law students, but some of them got in touch via social media and stuff, and they were super nice. But still, the social life didn't really exist because of the pandemic, and I'm not blaming that on Regensburg. I know that's not their fault. And I'm honestly grateful that we got to have online classes and didn't have to go to in-person classes, because that really wouldn't have felt safe to me. But it's just, you know, harder to meet people when everything is online and you're the new kid and you've never met any of them in person, because for some classes we didn't even have Zoom lectures. They would just upload the lectures, so you would never even know who else is in the class, because there was nowhere where you would actually meet, like, you know, in a digital space. There was no such thing. So that was kind of odd, I guess. And you know, it's not like in a lecture where you have a little break and you would usually talk to the person next to you or something. Like, that's usually how I made friends, because there's always some extrovert who's ready to adopt an introvert like me. But that doesn't really work when everything is online, because you don't have these breaks where you would just quickly chat to the person next to you. And so yeah, social life, honestly, not that great, but like I said, that's not on the university, that's really just on the pandemic, and I think a lot of people are going through that. So yeah, that one's not the greatest. Next up is extracurriculars, and here I honestly think that this was my fault. I didn't really know where to look for extracurriculars, but I also didn't really try to find out. I'm pretty sure that just dropping an email to the international office would probably have given me a clue about where to look. But I honestly didn't really give it a try. And I think the reason for that was that I was just so confused about everything that was happening, because I wasn't really at my exchange university. I didn't really know anyone who, you know, had been through a few semesters and whom I could have asked some stuff. I was just there and I was like, where do I find my university emails? Where do I sign up for classes? How the hell do I find these online classes then so that I can do them? I was just very confused about everything. So Miss Confused needed to figure out her life first, and I think it was good that I didn't do any extracurriculars in this semester, but maybe I should try to find out where to look for extracurriculars for the next semester. But I actually had like a little extracurricular of my own, sort of, which was writing a paper for the Cambridge Human Rights Law Journal, and I'm so excited for it to come out. It's about gender quotas in elections, and it's a topic that I've wanted to write about for quite a while, but I honestly just didn't really have the skill set to write about it yet, because I wanted to write about it from the European law perspective, but also the German law perspective. And I didn't know enough about German law to actually write this, but because I got to take public law courses at Regensburg, I could then write this paper. And honestly, it was really exciting for me to finally be able to research this in full, and it's gonna come out pretty soon. But fun fact, another paper that I co-wrote with another student actually came out a few days ago. It's about animal rights law. This is the paper. If you're interested in reading it, I'm going to put the JSTOR link down below. If you have institutional access to it, you can read it for that. But yeah, I'm really proud of that finally being out, because that's the first thing that I ever wrote for publication. I actually wrote that in my first year of law school, and it's just so cool to me that it finally reached the printer of a journal and was actually published. Like, that's crazy. But yeah. That's how I used my free time that I had because I didn't do any extracurriculars. So overall, I think I'm gonna give the extracurriculars a 7 out of 10. First, because it was probably my fault. I'm pretty sure I could have found some cool online events. And the other thing is, I honestly can't complain because I really enjoyed using my time to write that paper. It was a lot of fun for me, and I know it sounds like an academic thing, and I know it's related to law, so some people would say maybe it's not really an extracurricular. But to me, that is free time because I enjoy it. So 7 out of 10 for the extracurriculars, and I should probably do some more research for the next semester about extracurriculars. And lastly, we have academics. Now, a lot of people ask me whether I think that Cambridge is harder than Regensburg or German law school in general. And honestly, I don't think it is for regular law students in Germany, because I do think that their degree is incredibly hard, and I have a lot of fear of these Staatsexamen, which are very complex exams that they have to sit. So I wouldn't say it's easier than a law degree from Cambridge, but I do have to say that as an exchange student who obviously, you know, doesn't have to look at preparing for the Staatsexamen down the line, I had a more manageable workload during the semester than I would have had during term time at Cambridge. But still, I had to put in a lot of work. So I had a few more hours left during the week for doing other stuff, but it was obviously still hard, and I did have to put in a lot of work. Now, I would say that probably I had like maybe, I want to say like maybe 8 hours more of time, like distributed across the week. So a little bit more than an hour more time a day. Which is honestly great, but I also don't know how realistic that comparison is for regular law students, because obviously as an exchange student I have more liberty in terms of which classes I end up taking, so I'm not really sure how comparable that actually is with regular German law students. Now, one thing that I only realized how much I appreciated when I no longer had it were the supervisions at Cambridge. Because while I was at Cambridge, I always dreaded supervisions. Not because I didn't like them, but because when you go into a supervision, it's a one-on-one or a two-on-one with your professor about the subject, and you are gonna be grilled with questions by that professor. And that's cool because you learn from it and you get to ask questions about the subject to one of the brightest people in their field. And that's amazing, but it also means you have to prepare really well for this, because if you don't know what's going on, it's going to show very quickly. So it's just very stressful because there's a lot of reading to do for supervisions. But at Regensburg, they don't have a supervision system. For some classes, they had something called Konversationsübungen, which I think is quite similar to a seminar. But there you are with, I would say, roughly about 25 people. And it is a little bit like a supervision, but obviously not as individualized as a supervision would be. And I honestly hadn't realized how much I benefited from that individualized teaching until I no longer had it. And that's something that I really missed a lot. And it was just harder to just, you know, go through everything on your own, and when you don't know what's going on, you don't have that, you know, okay, I can just ask that in my supervision. You can of course email the professor and stuff, but for someone who's very shy like me, that's always like a 1 hour task, you know, of writing the email and then convincing myself that I'm confident enough to send it. But that's a me problem, okay? That's not a problem from the university, and I know that. But I definitely do miss the supervisions because I just think they really gave me a better understanding of what was going on in the courses, and I'm really looking forward to getting those back in my final year at Cambridge. Now, all of my classes were online, and I think overall I'm rating Regensburg a 9 out of 10 for academics. I'm taking 1 point off because I really do miss my supervisions. But other than that, I have nothing to complain about because my teachers were super nice. Whenever I had a question because I wasn't sure where to register for exams as an exchange student and stuff, they were always really happy to answer it. And I think they did an amazing job of doing online classes because I had a really interactive online course where you went through like just, you know, like it was a bit like an online game, I guess, because, you know, sometimes you had to answer questions and you had to figure out whether you were right or wrong. There were little quizzes along the way. It was really fun to do that. Some people did Zoom lectures, other people uploaded the lectures, but no matter which way they did it in a very clear and structured way, and you always knew where to find stuff once I had figured out which platform it actually was where you can find all the course information. So I think that was honestly really great, and I always knew where I could get support if I needed it. So yeah, overall 9 out of 10. I'm really happy with the courses. I enjoyed them a lot, and I'm really happy with the teaching that I got. So aside from me missing my supervisions, everything else related to academics was honestly really great and well done. So I'm really happy with my exchange university about that aspect. And like I said, that was the most important aspect to me, and I think I am getting a lot out of my year abroad in terms of academics. It is obviously kind of sad that the other part is missing. I'm gonna see whether I'm gonna have in-person classes in the second semester, so maybe I will actually be in Regensburg. Otherwise, I'll just do that from the beauty of my room as well. But yeah, we're gonna see. One thing is clear, however. My vlogs are coming back, and I am actually planning to vlog more regularly during the second semester because I also want some memories from my exchange year, even if they're all just at home. But I do want a little diary to look back at because I've realized that it's so nice to have my Cambridge vlogs and just look back at them and have this like kind of like, you know, documentation from everything that happened. And I do want that for my year abroad as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon with another exchange student vlog, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye!